$3,800 a year in additional costs. So as you go up the income scale,
Let me
the
see
actual
here.
dollars you get do go up. But what's happening is the percent loss of your income is going down. In other words, it's regressive. People at the upper end are losing less of their income. People at the bottom end are losing more of their income, over 5% of the income, $2,300, somewhere in the second tenth from the bottom, which is probably $20,000 a year for something like that of annual income. Obviously, not a lot. So this is an indication of consumers. We're also starting to see an impact on business, and that's again part of why the price was so depressed because it costs. This is a price that's paid by manufacturers for their goods that they need to make their product, and you can see how it's already shot up before the tariffs. In anticipation of the tariffs, companies are adding to their prices, and we've also had a few tariffs put in place. And I'll just also quickly note that manufacturing has turned down and is now in contraction. Another piece of not good news for the Trump administration. So as when you do the third chart, you raised President McKinley a few minutes ago, Steve. So let's talk about the history of tariffs. We have a long record to prove whether they work or they don't work. Yeah, we don't have to go back to the two, and we only really go back to Trump 1.0 because he put in a bunch
Look like it's working.
steel tax. And by the way, putting in steel and aluminum tax, which is also done this time, is really actually particularly dumb because you're raising the prices for companies in this country that use steel and aluminum to make their products, like car companies. In fact, I think the CEO of Ford used the word dumb when he put in his last round of steel and aluminum tariffs. But let's go back to the ones that he put in last time round. So we gained a grand total of 1,000 steel jobs. But for the reason I said, the increased cost to all the steel users, we actually lost 75,000 jobs in the manufacturing industry because their steel prices had gone up. So a net loss of 74,000 jobs from that set of tariffs. And Steve, sorry to interrupt, but this is the whole front of the argument for the president, which is we're putting these tariffs on because it's going to help the American economy. It's going to drive business to the United States and create jobs. But what you're saying is just the opposite happened 2 years ago. Yeah, and as I said, because when they put them on raw materials like steel and aluminum, it's particularly stupid because that's what our companies use to make their products. And so their costs go up, their sales go down, and they cut their workforce. Let's look at his tariffs. So he put on $50 billion of total tariffs in Trump 1.0 in his trade war then. But they turned out farmers because our biggest export is farm products like soybeans. And so he ended up subsidizing our farmers for $24 billion. So he took his $50 billion and spent half of it giving it back to the farmers. So when you talk about
He was the duck. Like that name.
revenues, history would not tell you that that is what is likely. And then look at one other specific example. Put a tariff on laundry machines. Raise the price of laundry machines by $200. And by the way, companies also increase the price of dryers. They sell them together. They created 1,800 jobs, a cost per job $817,000 per job created, which there was some additional domestic production. The tariffs ended during the Biden administration. The price of the food went down to $75. When all said and done, they actually went down by a bit less, by a bit more than inflation. So here's an example of exactly how
Let me see.
prices go up for everything, domestic, imported,
The
luxury.
crap? Wow.
Take them off, they go down, throw them back, you pay $800,000 a job. How quickly are American consumers going to feel this? I think probably very quickly, and then in the next few months, tariffs go into effect over the next few days, almost instantaneously. There are some goods that are already here that won't be tariffed, but I think frankly you're going to see companies start to raise prices right away because it's going to be, as we talked earlier, it's going to be harder for them to recoup all the costs of it, and they're going to do their best to do it by raising prices very quickly. Morning, Joe. Economic analyst Steve Ratner. Thank you very much for those explanations.
Oh, wow.
Which one? I'm telling you.
Ooh. God damn it.
Donald Trump appears to be getting advice on matters of national security from a far-right pro-white nationalism 9/11 truther is not even the most disturbing part of the story I'm about to. It's that Trump might actually be listening to her. First, the backstory. NBC News today confirmed with two sources, much of what the New York Times first reported, that prior to yesterday's Palooza in the Rose Garden, Laura Loomer kept Donald Trump in the Oval Office. The topic of the conversation, firing members of the National Security Council. Mike Waltz, the National Security Advisor and signal chat enthusiast, was in the debate defending his staff against what Laura Loomer was saying, that some members of the NSC were quote disloyal. Remember, Trump prosecutor last week about an hour after Laura Loomer posted about him online. Well, this afternoon, NBC News is confirming that at least 3 national
What time is it? It is 12.
while other news outlets report that the number could end up being higher. Notable that this latest purge happened a week and a half after Signalgate, a scandal for which no one has been fired.
I gotta feed it.
One for which began this afternoon will be the subject of a DOD Inspector General's investigation involving Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth. Everyone is